Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Generation Now. What's going on? I hope that you all are doing well and super excited for today's episode. I don't know about you all, but I am excited, regardless of if you've been rocking with us for a while or if you are just tuning in for the first time. Welcome to the Generation Now podcast, the place that was created to be a beacon of light for the emerging Christian leader, which is obviously yourself, because the Holy Spirit and God has led you to a place that we all can grow in a safe environment to continue to do his work and to grow together collectively as a unit, where we will be discussing numerous topics and all kinds of different things to hear what God is saying concerning such. That is what the show is created for. And I am your host, the creator of the Generation Now podcast. My name is Jalen Malone, for those that do not know, and I'm super excited that you are rocking with us today. So I want you all to take some time out before we get started on this show. Take some time to like, follow, subscribe, all those good things that people do over there on the social media platforms, regardless if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. We're so excited that you're here. I see people commenting and excited about the show. We're here. I cannot wait to dive into today's conversation. If this is your first time tuning in, I want you to know that you all are the co-hosts. I know that we have the panelists that are going to be here, but we all want you all to know to engage with us. The more that you pull on us, I promise, the more that you'll get out of the show. So comment, be sure to comment in the comment section. Make sure we see all those things going up so that we can continue to engage in the conversation. And then also keep in mind that we always say that the show is only going to be on Facebookerations for about I'll probably leave it up for a couple extra days, but after it does go down, you will have to go to your favorite podcasting station or over to YouTube to be able to watch the show, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. Listen to this episode, and I will have it up tomorrow. I'll make sure that it is downloaded and ready to go tomorrow. If you are having a hard time, because people do message and text in and say that they have a hard time finding the show there, just head over to my website, www.jalenlmalone.com, and you're able to find it easily there, and it'll direct you to wherever it is that you want to go. I also do want to take a moment right here, even now, that if this is your first time tuning in, to go ahead and text and lock in with us. Don't stay flirting with us. Don't stay, trying to stay on the outskirts. Go ahead and text in that word Gen Now to 833-635-2367. So that way you're able to know when we're going live and to be able to know what is going on with the show. Or even if you need prayer. If you need prayer, you're having a hard day at work, you're having a hard day at school, text us prayer to the same number, and one of the members of our team will be more than happy to meet you right there where you are and have a text conversation with you and pray for you and meet your needs right there where you are. So let's get ready to dive into this conversation, because I know there's so many people here in the Indianapolis area that are ranting and raving about the Pacers game. I know, because I'm ready to. We want to make sure that the Pacers win this game tonight. So we're not going to hold you all night. We're going to get in and get out. What those preachers say all the time, you don't got to be long to be strong, but we do want to hear what God is saying tonight and to do those things. But before we dive into today's show, I want to talk a little bit about what happened on the last episode. As you guys know, we're currently having it now, a 2-episode ender for the season of season 3. So last episode was episode number 7, which was entitled Covenant Talk, where we had a conversation about the sacred relationship between God and his people. And in this episode, we began to dialogue and discuss and unpack one of the most powerful themes that we know of in the Bible, which is the covenant between God and his people, all the way from Abraham to Moses, from David to the new covenant founded through Jesus Christ, and how God has consistently reached out in love, commitment, and promise to his people. But what does it mean to live in a holy relationship and a holy covenant with God? And what responsibilities and blessings come out of that divine relationship? If you want to know the answers to any of those questions, you have to go back to YouTube or your favorite podcasting station to be able to dive into that episode. But without further ado, like I said, I'm not going to hold y'all very long. We are going to go ahead and dive into today's episode that is entitled Mic'd Up, Worship Leaders Unplugged. So, as you guys probably already know, we got some phenomenal praise and worship leaders, some phenomenal people that are doing this in the great city of Indianapolis. Some people that I look up to, some of my friends, some of my brothers. So I'm so excited to have them here with us. But we want you all that are watching us to make sure that somebody is going to be able to be blessed by this show today as we get ready to introduce them. But before I introduce them, let me set the stage up for what we're getting ready to dive into and talk about today. So in today's episode, we're going to be diving into the heart of a conversation that sits at the very heart of culture, which is praise and worship. Hands down. We know you go to church, you go there for the praise and worship, and you go there for the word. Especially in today's time, we watch some churches strictly for the praise and worship. And I know y'all know some of them places. But praise and worship, specifically in the Black church, is more than just music. It's actually ministry. And I think that's what some people fail to realize. It's healing. It's our history. It's a sacred space where the soul begins to meet the spirit, where voices rise, not just in a melody, but in power and protest and praise and perseverance. And so today I'm honored to be joined by a panelist of discussion, incredible praise and worship leaders that are not only musicians and ministers, but they are first and foremost servants to the Most High God of the sound who guide our churches into the presence of God week after week. So we will be talking about everything from spiritual preparation to balancing tradition and innovation to how worship speaks to us today. So, regardless of if you're a praise and worship leader or a churchgoer or just someone who wants to know more, understand the power of music in the Black church, this episode is for you. So, settle in. Fasten your seatbelts, open up your heart, and let's have this honest and spirit led conversation about worship in the church today. So, let's welcome our guests. I'm going to do them in alphabetical order, no glitz, no glamour, or nothing. So I can't, none of them can say, hey, you picked him first. No, there's no hierarchy here. I'm just going to go in order by last name. So first and foremost, I'm so honored and so excited to be able to welcome someone that I look up to, great praise and worship leader here in the city. My wife and I just went to his live recording. And listen, I about took both shoes off and threw him at that stage by the time that we got done. So many of you may know him and see him and know him around the city. And if you don't know him, you need to get to know him. And that is none other than Brother Landis Archie. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, praise the Lord. Glad to be a part of this great discussion. And thank you for sharing your platform as we can discuss different issues and different things that go on in church and stuff. So I'm just excited about tonight. And thanks again, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. We're super excited to have you here and to see where God is going to allow us to glean. I got my cup, my plate ready to be able to dive in and be able to glean from you all today. But next, but certainly not least, we're going to bring another very special guest to the table today, and that is going to be this brother. Man, I'm trying to tell y'all, if y'all don't know Jeremy, listen, every time this dude sings, I just, man, man, that's all I can say. If you don't know him, you need to get to know him. Love his heart, love his spirit. His worship is pure, sets the atmosphere and sets the stage for what it is that God is going to do. So let's welcome none other than Jeremy Thompson to the stage
My
for this
boy,
show.
what's up, guy?
What up, bro?
Man, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Glad to have you.
It's a blessing to be here, man. I'm so honored, bro. I feel this is definitely a privilege to be able to share this stage with some incredible people, bro. Just like yourself.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely
Yeah,
glad to
man.
have you.
Yeah, man.
Definitely
Appreciate it,
glad.
man. Appreciate it.
Anytime. But last but certainly not least, man, I want to share this little quick little story because I don't want to labor the time. But I actually told him this last time that we were together. I told him I met him when I was in college. He came to Indiana State, which is my alma mater, Go Trees, and we have a gospel concert there every year. At this time, I was just I was over the gospel choir there, and he came and he sang this song that still sticks with me to this day, and it was entitled "This Praise." And that song has stuck with me
Hey,
for, man, years. And so now to be able to see and watch him minister week after week at New Beginnings and to be able to talk with him and glean from him and is definitely an honor. And so we're so glad to have none other than Larry Wilson here with us today. We're super excited to have him on the show as well. What up, bro?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Super excited to have you.
Man, thank you for the invite, man. It's such a pleasure to be amongst the gentlemen that do great works in the city, man. I'm just
Amen.
really honored. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I can't wait. I'm super, super, super excited. So we're going to go ahead and dive right on into this conversation. As you guys can tell, there's years and years of experience between these guys doing praise and worship to playing to ministering and all those things. And so I was telling them before we got on here, some of them that one of the reasons, because I always like to tell the heart of why I have these conversations. So the show is always going to be about conversations that I have with God in my personal time. But one of the things that I'm noticing now, and the reason why we're having the show, is because I have a lot of conversations with people that say, oh, well, leading praise and worship is easy. All you're doing is getting up there and singing a song.
Mm.
No, there's so much more to that. It's so much deeper than that. A lot of people don't really understand the prep that goes in behind that, the fasting and the prayer and the supplication that goes into that. And it's more than just getting up there on Sunday, grabbing a mic and singing a song. There's a warfare that goes on behind that, and so much that goes on. And so I thought it would be great to be able to have a conversation about music today, in the church, as it's shaping and molding to be what it is. And so I wanted to have this conversation today. And so we're going to go ahead and dive into this conversation. I hope that you guys are enjoying. I see people are commenting. People are even saying the worshipers are surely in the room. I see the comments coming in, and we see our brother as well,
Yeah.
that is down there too. But we're going to go ahead and ask this first question. And if you guys have questions in the comments, we want you guys to be able to dialogue and discuss there with us. So the first question that I want to ask you guys today, as we get ready to dive into this conversation, is a question that is from the topic of personal growth and community impact. And the reason why I ask this question is because I want to be able to set the stage for people to get to know you. So the first question is how has leading worship transformed your personal relationship with God? And whoever wants to go first can go.
Are we gonna do alphabetical order again?
You
Yeah.
can go for it.
You can go first, Larry. Since you go in, we'll go the other way this time.
Okay, okay. Give me the question one more time, Jay.
It's on your screen too. So how
Yeah.
has leading worship transformed your personal relationship with God?
Man, I think it all starts with the relationship. Um, First and foremost, we can't get in front of the people empty, right? So
Mm,
there has to be some behind closed doors, man. There has to be some type of surrender, supplication with God, just time spent with Him before we get in front of the congregation and allow God to do His thing. So, um, man, to answer your question, man, worship has totally changed my life only because. Man, this is what I'm created to do. That's first and foremost. And once I get that in my private time, man, it automatically just bleeds over into the congregation on Sunday morning, just based off that time that I've had during the week with God.
that's good.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good.
Um, Thanks, Larry, for sharing that. Um, what I could say is it's a daily walk, man. It's your daily commitment with Him. Um, I just say what you do in your private shows up in your public, and it's so important to make sure that you um, having a stuff you're having alignment. You know what I'm saying? It's like a car needing alignment, and so you got it's a daily commitment. And we just thinking that, oh, we're gonna come to worship in song, but no, it's what you do before you even sing a song. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think when it comes to my relationship, I'm a relationship type of person. So why not have a relationship with the God that we sing about? And so
Yeah.
that's a daily. It's a daily thing. It's a daily commitment. It's your lifestyle. And so because what I do as far as doing praise and worship, that has to be my lifestyle. So I have to be able to. Can I sing or can I worship by myself? And so it was like if I could do that by myself, then no, I could do this. I could just show them that I could do this with amongst the masses. You know what I'm saying? So that's my relationship. It's just about a relationship which you have. It's a daily relationship that you have to continue to grow. It's to
Yeah.
continue to grow. You continue to get to know Him, and so because you can read about Him, you can sing about Him, but having a conversation, you start knowing more things about God. And then you understand why we sing this song or why this lyric says what this is, because we sing a lot of lyrics that's not even biblically correct. And so you just gotta make sure that your relationship with God is number one, so that you can be able to worship to His people.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, man.
Probably going to say some of the same things that the fellas have just said. It definitely has changed my life. Um, I will say that it's a relationship thing, it's an intimacy thing that people get to see up front on Sundays. So when I'm intimate with God, not everything, of course, but it's made easy because that's how I was created to worship Him. We all were, but as a worship leader or a minister of music, I think sometimes I have a sense like, yo, this is how I was created, and then you dive in even more, just searching after God, and um, I've grown so many different ways with it. My discernment has grown,
Mm,
um,
Yeah.
recognizing His presence, understanding flow. So all those things are just bigger. So it's not. I probably maybe when you were younger in this, it was more praise and worship is emotional, but it's not dictated by our emotions, right? So maybe at one time it might have been a little bit more emotional, 60-40. I think it's the other way now as we grow closer to Him, as worshipers, and understanding that's how we were designed,
mm.
and just staying focused to the main thing, especially on Sunday mornings. I know I'm getting away from the question, but Sunday
No,
mornings are
no.
just so important, that we lay down every other weight and just solely just focus on Him. So in that regard, I think because of the responsibility of being a leader, it has become, it's not always easy, but it's something that goes along with what we do, that we can still worship regardless of what's going on because of the responsibility. Because when we're leading, I might have a fallout or whatever may be going on, but my focus has to be God when I get up there in front of the people, and what we're, especially what we're doing on Sundays. So that in that regard, it has helped me and grow me in that facet where I can look to the hills for which cometh my help. Like
Yeah.
really lock in, like have a moment, but still get locked in a little bit faster than normal.
And I can
Yeah,
even,
that's amazing.
and I'm sorry. And we can even say, even just being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Being very vulnerable and very submissive. And I think that's something we have to also be as a worshiper. You got to be submissive to Him. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that, hey, it's okay. Sometimes you ask people. Sometimes you be wondering like, why are people crying during praise and worship? Like, are they crying because they love Him, or are they crying because or something's going on? No, you can cry because you love Him. You know what I'm saying? And just being vulnerable. And I think that's just it's all about relationship, man.
Yeah, that's major. Yeah, that's major because I think you all are hitting it right on on the head when it comes to that, because we have to realize that in order to lead effectively, you can't lead people into a place that you've never gone privately. And I
Super
Ooh.
think that
facts.
that is something that people fail to realize. It's almost like the saying that people say, the blind is leading the blind. And one thing that I always tell like my praise team in the band that I lead is that there's no way for us to effectively lead people into a place in God that we have no direction to. And the only way that you can find that direction, to find that path, is the time that you spend with God in your personal time. There's no other way, because you have to be able to gather the congregation and to gather all these people with different walks, different styles, different all kinds of walks of life, and get them collectively on one path to get to God. And the only person that knows that way and that path is through God. And so it's more than just getting up there and singing a song. It's about what you do throughout the week. But I want to go back to something that Pastor PC said. What's up, Pastor PC? Good to see you, man. It's been a while. But he said that it's emotional. It's emotional, but it's not dictated by our emotions. And it brought back a question that I had, and I actually was going to go this direction later. But one of the questions that I have for you guys is, how do you balance emotional expression and sound theology in praise and worship? And what I mean by this, if you want a little bit more backdrop to this, and Landis kind of talked about it, is how are you able to take out what you're facing in your emotional times, whether you, like you mentioned, just having a fallout before church, and still being able to get there and focus on doing the job and the assignment that has been fulfilled to you. What does that look like? How do you guys overcome those challenges in your life?
Man, I think that it's very easy to succumb to emotions during the praise and worship piece of the service. Uh, Even something as simple as how the people react to the song, right?
Mhm.
Um, so it's very easy to tap into that emotionalism um, area of the song, right, of the moment. But I do think that it is very important for us. It goes, man. It really goes back to relationship, and that's why I'm very careful to choose certain songs because, man, we gotta be here with heaven during praise and
Yeah.
worship. Um,
Man.
yeah, so it's very important for us to choose the right song and not get so caught up in emotionalism, but get caught up in the spiritual side, the spiritual side of it, and not to put anybody on blast, but I think that we've all been guilty of being emotional in the moment and being led by emotions in the moment.
Mhm.
That literally takes away from the whole point of why we are there. As worship leaders, man, we are there to lead and to guide them to the presence of the Lord. It ain't about my emotions, it ain't about yours. We are there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to seek heaven. And I
Man.
think once we, as praise and worship leaders, get that simple piece, get that under control, man, you will see wonders in your church just based on, man, let's get to heaven.
I'd like to add to that,
That's
Nate.
so. Oh, I'm sorry, Lord.
Go ahead, bro.
I said that's so true, especially in our culture. We worship we worship horizontally, and we don't worship vertically. You hear
Yeah.
praise and worship sayers like all about me, 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 me. It ain't about us.
Oh,
It's about the God that we serve. And so, how can we say, "Oh, this is you"? We can say certain things, but we just sung about a song that deliver us from that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I just think sometimes us as a culture need to me focus on more worshiping vertically, seeing heaven instead of seeing ourselves. Sometimes I tell myself I sing a song or I sing a melody, or you go back to a song. Forget about ourselves and concentrate our mind on Him and worship.
Yeah.
If we could forget about ourselves, concentrate our mind and worship,
Yeah.
everything else doesn't even, nothing else matters. The emotion doesn't, we take the emotion out the way if we just concentrate our mind on God. And I
Yeah.
think
Seek heaven.
sometimes as worship leaders, we can get distracted with ourselves
Yeah.
and not focus on the God that we serve.
If I can add, like, I think the biggest challenge that we have in our churches when we're leading is people don't understand our why. Like, why do we assemble? Why do we come to church? And so you're breaking down so many other different myths. In a book by Bob Sorge, it's one of my favorite worship books, Exploring Worship. And he talks about how everything in the service is for God and us except the worship period. What I mean is
Mm,
like tithes and offering is for us and God. The preach word is for us. The announcements are for us. All these different things that go on in the service. The one thing that is solely for God in our service is the praise and worship part. So when we understand our why, then it changes the whole flow of everything. The gentleman keeps saying where we want to make sure we're going horizontal. That's what it's all about. So it breaks down a lot. If we understand our why, it tears down. Yeah, I'm gonna be emotional, but I'm being emotional for God, and I'm still
mhm.
being locked in to give God everything. I'm offering up a sacrifice of praise. I'm giving him my all. I'm not trying to be seen. I don't care what somebody has on. Man, this is my time that I fellowship amongst other believers and give our honor and our worship unto God together. And then I take what we've done here, and I continue it throughout the week. on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday, I continue to cultivate that heart for my love for the Lord, and then we express it to even more together amongst believers. Someone said a while back, and it made me really think. It was like, man, church really is not for the unsaved. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? It's not for the unsaved. And I had to really think about that, man. It's like, man, church is for the saved. Now, if unsaved people want to come on, get saved and be a part of it. But we sometimes we miss the real fellowship and what we should actually be doing on Sundays. Sing so many times when we're doing so many other things that have nothing to do with God in our services sometimes. But I think the big thing is just staying locked in to our why. Why are we coming to church? Why are we here to worship?
It's good.
Major, major. And Pastor PC said something too that was crazy. He said the problem can be we are trying to lead people into his presence, but we've only encountered his shadow.
Ooh,
Woo!
That's
my
crazy.
my.
My God.
Screenshot that.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's good.
That's
And
crazy.
I think that is so yeah, because yeah. My God, I'm not even gonna unpack that, but that's good. That's good. My God. But man, this is a great conversation. It's all about, and I hear Clinton even now. It's all about the vertical pursuit. That's what he always says. It's always about the vertical and not the horizontal. Because like what you guys are saying, so many times we do come into church and it's about us and how we feel, and that's vertical and not actually giving God the adoration and the praise and the honor that is due to Him. Because when we do that, then we see the manifestation here on earth. And like what Larry was saying, that's
We
what we're
see
trying to
healing.
get to.
Healing takes place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Signs, miracles, and wonders takes place
Yeah.
if we do that. That's what we come to church for. That's what we should come to church for.
yeah, that's major. That's major. So let's drop this in here. So now that we're already here pretty much, but when it comes to song selection, how do you discern the leading of the Holy Spirit when you're selecting your songs for worship? Because for some people that's probably the most challenging part for a lot of people is picking the songs. So what does that look like for you? How do you discern which songs to choose for your sets on Sunday?
Man, I think that we have to be very careful not to select songs that are not for our congregations,
Mhm.
right? And I'll say this: it really it starts with your shepherd. It really does. It starts with your pastor, um, and that's why it's so good to have a working relationship with your pastor. Get his pull on his heartstrings, see where his heart is, see where the vision's going. Um, my pastor just sat me down the other day and told me, "Man, let's start singing songs that are about more about you. It's me and God. It's you, meaning Him. It's us singing to Him, right? Instead of situational songs, those are good. Those are good. But in the worship moments, let's start picking songs that are directed straight toward Him. Here I am to worship, right? Those type. That's just an example. Those type of songs that um, just speak directly to God. So I think it's really, really important for us to, man, number one, know your house. Number no no number I'm sorry, number one, know your pastor. Number two, know your house. Those two things are very, very important when it comes to song selection.
For sure.
I
That's
like to
good.
say even the culture of the house is very important, like Larry said. Um, and know what the vision is, what your pastor's wanting. Because sometimes I know I'm a victim. I know I do this a lot. Stuff that I might listen to personally, and it might not be for the house.
Right?
But I think we owe the people a stretch song sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
A song that stretches them, um, to go deep calls unto deep, right? So we want to push songs that pour the heart, pour the heart of God, like we're calling on Him, pouring on that heart that pours out to Him. Um, sometimes it just, I really just think it just depends on the assignment, honestly, the
Mhm.
assignment of where you're at. Um, Israel, he says that sometimes you got to treat your song list like a family reunion cookout. I
Hmm.
love this analogy. Um, usually no one's dancing when they're just playing just the regular house music and things like that during the family reunion. But then they'll play that one song that gathers everybody, that everybody knows. It's usually like the electric slide or something like that. It gathers the people together, and then they pour out something new on them, and then might bring them back to some other songs of remembrance. So sometimes I kind of use that scale. My first song is usually a song that everybody knows or something that is quick for them to catch on to because we're trying to get them to participate. I'm definitely not trying to get people to just sit and look like we're at a concert. That's
Well,
totally not the mindset that I'm trying to have with my song list. And I'm sure, I know Larry probably does this, probably Jeremy, but I do my list for the whole month. I'm trying to get where I do the list for like 2 months ahead, but for at least I'm at to the point where I do it for the month. So when I'm looking at that, I'm looking at a good opening song, and I'm looking at a song that can either connect with the pastor's sermon
hmm
or get us ready to receive that. And then the stuff in between is either something that pushes you, something it might sprinkle in something new. Try not to do too many new songs for whatever reason. A lot of times that's hard on church congregations, a lot of new songs, but I don't want to stay stale doing the same stuff over and over. So I kind of bend back and forth when it comes to those types of things. Maybe 2 to 3 new songs a month, maybe at least 2 new songs. I think we should stay fresh in the body. Everywhere else in music, everybody's always being creative, and it seems like in church we want it to stay the same all the time. So I always try to push just new ways where we can offer up that sound unto the Lord. So that's pretty much my process when I'm picking out songs. Definitely some songs come from just my own worship time too. So
yes, man. When I've been asked to, man, lead a Sunday or something like that, they'll ask me, and I give them give me a couple hours or give me a couple days, so that I can talk to God. Like, God, what do you want me to sing? I think people get caught up in like, what is the song of the Lord? And I think sometimes in worship, when it comes to songs, yes, we can sing songs, but make sure that at the end of a song, you're going to, that's why I like to do medleys or something like that. That's things that I do. Or just sing a song. What is the Lord saying? Or sing the song of what your spirit is singing. I think sometimes we need to tap into that as worship leaders. Sing the song of the Lord. Like, what does God want you to sing? And that thing could be a melody that you can make up, or that could be something that you've been working on, or new. Sometimes I like if I'm writing a song, I want to sing a song that I might sing the chorus of the song that I wrote into the song that I just sung or something like
Hmm.
that. And so that's things that I would do. Just little medleys, and but again, ask God, like, God, what do you want me to sing? And I think sometimes we can have a song bank. Yeah, we have these song banks, and you think we the songs are familiar, we can sing new songs, but make sure that your heart is right with whatever song that you pick.
That's good. And I actually got a text message for a question that they want us to pose here or to ask is why is it so important for us to determine the sound of the house? Why? Why should somebody care?
Mm.
because you don't want to go, I wouldn't go because sometimes the sound of the house that's going to lock everybody together to bring the people together. I'm not going to a rock concert and start doing rap music because they won't connect with me. We're trying to take everybody to one main place. We're
Yeah,
not trying to just say come to my place because it's not about me.
yeah.
So if and we want, again, worship leading, and I'm gonna get out of y'all way because I see everybody's ready for this. This was a good question, but worship leading is not just about. It's not about me and what I like.
Mm-mm.
And at so where I'm serving now, it's an older congregation, right? So for me, it wouldn't be fair for me to do a lot of newer songs that they wouldn't connect. Then we're not on one accord. then when we're the word might they might not even be ready to receive the word because they've been so bored from what I was singing, not locked in because everybody's from different walks and things. Leadership's different from just the regular congregation people. So we're part of the whole service trying to get to one main center point,
Hmm.
right? So what we do could be a distraction to the house. So I'm
Mm.
always, I know with me, I'm always careful with what I'm bringing in because sometimes that might not work. Or if I'm at I was at a Koja conference not too long ago, and the song list I had some of the stuff, and then I was like, well, just let me work with this one. I can we can probably work with this one, but some of the stuff it wasn't me. So then I was like, well, do you really want me to lead? Maybe you might get somebody else to lead because that's not how I'm built. But I always want to respect the house because you just mess up the whole flow of what God really wants to do coming in there with the wrong thought process and songs. That's my piece on it.
Man, I have the opportunity to be on a few platforms here in Indianapolis or Indiana, and there's different cultures when it comes to doing praise and worship. And I couldn't go to this one church and sing. Um, I can't church them. They don't understand that. They don't understand that type of worship or that type of song. They might can go into a Christ is my firm foundation. They get it. And so it's all I think sometimes you have to read the room. I think sometimes as worship leaders, we don't know how to read the room. We just assume, oh, because we're talking about God. No. We can still talk about God, but let me talk to God in this type of way. The assignment is still being taken place. But
Hmm.
sometimes I can't go if God is a good guy. Yes, He is. They don't understand that. They don't know that culture. And so I think sometimes as worship leaders, you have to read. You gotta read the room. You gotta know what not to sing and what to sing and what will work and what will not work. You have to be so that's as a discernment thing. I feel like
Man, to sum it all up, the sound of the house is the culture of the house.
yes.
There are some songs that I can do in my service that I can't do in any other services, only because it's not their culture, it's not their sound. So again, to sum it up, man, y'all said it right, man. The sound is the culture, and if you come out of that,
You
it's
can,
gonna hang us in. Go ahead, man.
you know what, but Larry, you can invite new sounds in the house
Oh, for sure.
eventually, but you just can't start off with this what you like only
Right.
because the people won't participate. And I think the very foundation of what we're doing, or because you don't have worship leaders in the Bible, you don't. People
You
say that
don't.
all the time, but I'm still trying to find where they're at.
Right.
But based off of what this role is, you can't do it without the people, without us going
Right.
on one accord, right? So it's
Collective.
collectively, yeah, help me out. Yeah, you can't. It's it. You're if you're just doing it, the stuff you like, you're doing a concert.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you're not doing worship service. You're doing a concert. So you might as well go down to Cool's Hall or something and do your music because
Right.
that's not what it's about.
And that
And
goes
now
back. That
sometimes
goes back to the discernment of the worship leader. You got to be able to know when to go and when not to go. If this song is not working, we flip into something else
Yeah.
almost immediately. So your
sure.
discernment level has to be, man, tapped in. You got to be tapped in.
And then we can definitely talk about musically. Like you can change you can if you're very creative, your creativeness, you could change a churchy song into a
Sure.
CCM song if you want to. You know what I'm saying? You could turn a CCM song to a churchy song. They do it all the time. It's just what can you do? What is your again, what can the culture do for you? Like how can you influence the culture to bring what you want or what to bring something to something new. You know what I'm saying? I think right now they're doing that little trap that trap gyra. That's cold. But that may be cold in our and like at a big church far as a black church, but they want to hear at the white church, they want to hear the regular gyra. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about it's preferences. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's good. And I want to I'm going to go left, but then I'm going to come back because this conversation also translates to those who bring the word, because this is a podcast that isn't just about praise and worship leaders. There's a lot of leaders and preachers that listen to this. This translates to the word too. And
Yeah.
I feel like, and I know that a lot of times, even as preachers, people can take on that same ideology. Well, this is the word that the Lord gave me, and I'm just going to deliver it how I want to deliver it. No, because sometimes you have to be able to package it in a way, even though that's what the Lord is saying, you have to be able to package it in a way that the people are going to be able to receive it. So
Yeah.
if I know, for example, that I'm going to an apostolic church, I'm not going to preach, the Trinity. If I'm going to a Kojic church, I'm not going to preach oneness. You have to know these things in
Mm.
order to know the culture of the house that you're going into, which goes back to what we were just talking about. So it translates upon whether you're a worship leader, a musician, a preacher, or prophet, whatever. It translates in all areas.
Man, I was when I first started doing praise and worship. Just a quick story. I started doing praise and worship. It was a Church of God. It was a Church of God church, right? Church of God, yeah. And I went up there to sing, and I start speaking in tongues before I do praise and worship, and they just looking at me. And my daddy said, "You don't know what you're doing. You didn't read the rule." Yeah, yeah. And it made me realize. He said, "You just can't do that everywhere." Because you're accustomed to it, you can't do that everywhere because people's not going to receive you. You wonder why people set on you because you're doing something that they was not familiar with, or they not even taught. You know what I'm saying? That in that sense, and so you have to be careful what you do and how you what you say. I can't, like you said, I can't say certain things at a church doing praise and worship that I can't say at another church. You know what I'm saying? They want just good morning, everybody. But at my other church, they can't just do good morning. They need to be like, come on and give God praise in this place. It's that. You know what I'm saying? It's certain it's just, you know, we talk all day about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is good. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So yeah, I'll keep on. If people text me and give me questions, I'll do that too. But this is good. This is really really good. How we doing on time? All right, we all right. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it pushing. Next question, because we've kind of talked about this as well, but I want to pose this to you all as well while we're talking about it. So the question is, what does your weekly worship preparation look like, both spiritually and practically?
Usually I get up. I'm on early morning. Um, Early morning times, usually by 5:30. Try to do prayer time during that time. If I oversleep it, I'm trying to get it in at some other time. I'm not going to act like I'm not going to be real. And sometimes you don't miss certain times, but I try to do early morning. Or have my list. So I have my playlist ready, musically, and I'm just kind of listening to it and getting on the piano, making sure things are right for rehearsals. Um, and just getting prepared. Sometimes we're doing different devotionals. If I have a certain devotional of something I might have been studying, I might be pouring that out to the whatever rehearsal I'm at. Um, Saturdays are usually I try to stay really low key on Saturdays most times. About 15 years ago, I had surgery. I had a nodule on my right vocal cord,
Mm.
Wow.
so I have to be intentional. Just being ready. I mean, especially when I was doing multiple services at one time, just trying to keep up with my voice. So it's not just the spiritual things that I have to make sure I'm taking care of, just uh, my voice needing rest, noticing when it needs rest, preparing in those types of ways, things like that. Then just getting ready for Sunday morning service. Hopefully, I think I answered the question.
Yeah, you did.
Um, of course, I always say, Mondays is my rest day, bro. I'll be perfectly honest. That's recovery. I think as athletes, and you know what I'm saying, and just who you are, if you do something on Sunday, man, you got to recover, and there's power in rest, and so. But in my resting, I make sure that I have a moment with God. Especially at the gym. I'm more of a person like I love going to the gym in the mornings, and so my gym is that's my therapy with him. That's me. I'm on a podcast talking and listening to different podcasts with different preachers from Sundays. And so just to be because sometimes we put so much out as worship leaders and we need to be fed as well and
Yeah.
just feed your spirit. I think that's a Monday thing. Of course, some of us do have jobs and things like that. So, and we have families, and so that we have to tend to that. But we also just take a time to always just reflect as you still the servant. And so as a servant, you just making sure that you make sure that you're being fed as well. And so Tuesdays but Mondays is rehearsal, of course. Know what you're trying to sing. That's the what you're trying to sing next week. I know sometimes that I have the privilege of singing at serving at other churches, things is already done months in advance. So it's just me going back to hearing the what songs we're singing, and just refreshing on that when it comes to that. But Saturday, like making sure that Saturday is definitely I ain't doing anything. I'm preparing for to lead. And so that's where you really like kind of you're fasting. You're fasting for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And just preparing yourself to lead. And then Sunday morning, make sure you get my medicine ball. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
Sunday we here. Sunday we're here ready. And for I think when you prepare to be in the presence of God or to lead, it helps you. Once you got to prepare right, you know what I'm saying. LeBron James and they don't work out for Sunday's game. They work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's a day again. It's a daily relationship, and so long as that relationship is cool, I mean that's your preparation. That's your preparation for the week. And as long as you have communication with your leaders, I mean everything is that's my life.
Man, I
Wow.
think for me, man, it all starts Monday morning. Um, for some reason, Monday is one of the worst days of the week for a worship leader,
Yeah.
pastor,
Yeah.
right? Because your spirit is just wide open. It's
Yeah.
wide. An idle mind is a devil's playground, right?
Amen.
So I found in my personal time, man, that if I don't have that Monday morning devotion, man,
It's over.
yeah, my week could be thrown off. So I make sure that, man, by Monday morning, man, I'm right back in his face, right back in his presence, just to make sure that my spirit is right for the rest of the week. And I think that I have an advantage because we rehearse on Monday nights. I know some of my singers hate that, but for me, it's a win-win because it kind of solidifies my week as far as learning new material, sequences, we're singing the stems, all that. And once I'm out of vocal rehearsal on Monday, I'm looking forward to the band rehearsal on Thursday, getting with the fellas and going over sequence, stems, and all that on Thursday. And then Saturday night, I make sure I do nothing. Yeah, I make sure I do nothing. I make sure that I'm in, of course, I'm in God's presence and just taking the time to just review. And sometimes it's good for us to actually put ourselves in the upcoming service,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Right? With your songs that you know you're gonna sing. That Saturday night is a good time just to, man, this song could flow into this song. This song could come out of that
Hmm.
song, and just to hear what God's saying as far as where we're going on Sunday morning, right? And then Sunday morning, man, it's go time.
Yeah.
Being there.
Yeah. That's major.
Man, I used to always say, don't let your Saturday nights affect your Sunday morning.
Yee, facts, though.
Do not let your Saturday nights affect your Sunday morning. Because I've seen people. it affects their Sunday morning, and they out here, woo wee.
Hey man, but we've all been there, man.
We've all been
We've
there.
been there, but
And
it's a
we
learning
can
thing.
speak out of
But
maturity and
I
say,
have definitely
come on.
allowed my Saturday night affect my Sunday morning.
And thank God for grace. You heard?
Grace, His
Grace.
grace is overwhelming.
Yeah, man. We've all been.
Yeah, I think the key here is really you guys hit man, y'all are hitting every point that I wanted to get out of this episode. Because leading worship is not just about what we do on Sunday. It is a lifestyle. It's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a week. You know what I'm saying? That we are offering ourselves not only to our ministry, but to God and asking for direction and what is it that you want to do? How do you want this to be delivered? Man, because just like you are, yesterday, Monday was a holiday, right? So this morning when I woke up, my wife, she came in here, she's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to get these tracks together. I'm listening to these stems. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get everything together to make sure that it's right. So yeah, that's good. We had I just saw another question come through, but somebody asked, how can or do your spouses support you all when you're going forth?
So I've seen that. I think that's just it's a process, like in any marriage, when you're learning each other. Because I know on Sunday morning, my wife had to get used to me playing music at a certain level and early in the morning because I had to be at church so early. So it's going sometimes that might have frustrate her. And then it's kind of give and take some days. So I'll shut down my practice time or make sure I have some headphones when I'm practicing. I got to get stuff in, or if I'm hearing a song early, I think that's one of those things. You know how you get married, we weave together. I think that's part of the process of just learning each other because we're musical people. I sing all through the house all the time, and I know
Hey,
it gets on my wife's nerves. I will
Man,
be sick, or I'm playing with a tone, or I'm doing stuff, but I'm a music person. So I'm gonna do that stuff. It could be a commercial I like, and I might start humming and singing. I was whistling before we started. So I think it's a process as your wives, our partners, our loved ones, they learn us just like we learn them, right? So it's all a process with that whole thing. Or when I'm in a serious mode and I'm studying, this ain't the time to come up and be one kissy and all that. I'm locked in. I'm not trying to be mean, but then I have to understand maybe that's something she's needing at that time too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I have to be open to that. But definitely, I think the hardest thing. I mean, it's crazy because my kids are grown now, but they kind of got used to. They know, back in the day when our moms was up on Saturday mornings, you knew they was up because you could smell the bleach throughout the house because they
yeah.
cleaning and stuff like
yeah,
that. It's kind of the same thing. Um, they know when I'm getting up by 5:30, that playlist, I mean, it's a running joke between my kids. We know all the songs that the choir's singing on Sunday because we've heard them 3 million times because it's
That
on
part.
repeat on my playlist every day, things like that. So I think it's a process. I don't think it happens overnight because sometimes it's not something that they understand because that's not in their role of what they do. So they're not getting it or why I'm wired like that, or I get up late and I'm doing those types of things. I think that's just a challenge sometimes when you're married with your spouse and stuff like that because we're just musical people.
Man, your spouse knows your assignment, and if they know their assignment, they shouldn't have a problem with helping you or hearing other things. Um, I just know my son's involved, so I keep my sons involved. So this everything that I do, my sons do, and so I use that as that's a bonding time. So they know these songs, they know the songs, and you know what I'm saying they know exactly like Lena said, they already know what we singing on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
gives them like, oh, I know what y'all. They already know. They know first. They already know the assignment. So I think sometimes it can be an advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know stuff. You know, they
Yeah.
know stuff that the congregation don't know, that the house don't know. But that's again, that's a just a they know who they marry. They know who they with. If they know their assignment, hey, there should be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely gonna hear me on. I wake up too early, so My wife is not a morning person, so she's gonna see me the last service instead of the first service. You know what I'm saying? So that we have to be, and that's where it's like it's a team thing. You know what I'm saying? Making sure I gotta do this, I gotta do this. I can't make it right here, but if you help me out, we good. So long, that's a communication thing.
That's
I do
good.
think so. It's a learned thing, man. Because let's be honest, man. Um, it takes a special somebody to be with
Yes, sir.
a musician
Oh,
or to be with somebody in full time ministry, right?
Yeah.
It takes a special somebody to do that. Because, man, in these positions, man, ministry never stops, right? It's an ongoing thing. Um, I'm getting text messages and group me's going off right now, and it's almost 9 o'clock, right? It's an ongoing thing. So it takes somebody that is willing to share you. Come on,
definitely.
somebody that is willing to share you with the ministry.
That's major.
And you have, can I add to this? So when I started full time ministry, that's around the time my kids were doing AAU. They were in
Yeah,
basketball and things like that. So when
Man.
a lot of weight went on my wife because she was taking my kid for indie hoops. All their games are on Sundays. So I wasn't, unless it was a game after church, I wasn't going to be able to attend that game. So the level of communication you have to have, because they're going to get tired too. Like I'm gonna get tired, especially when you kids and everybody in there. But you have to have a heavy level of communication and still try to still be intentional. Like sometimes I would be tired, did not want to go to a middle school basketball game after I've done 3 services, but I
yeah,
knew that my
Jesus.
responsibility, I had to get there because it meant something for my kids to see my face in the place for those different things. Or if my wife is doing something, like now my wife's in school, so she's doing, I have to make sure I'm respecting her time that she has with school, new assignments she has with her job. It's all about the communication and then being intentional. Got to be intentional because you don't want to be one of those people like, I've seen people be married to the church, and that's all they do, and they forget about their spouse.
Oh,
And then once that's gone, then you don't have anything. And it's so we just still have to be intentional with what we're doing. Date nights, spending some time with with your kids, things like that. I think those are real important too.
Ding dong. That's major. That is major. We ain't gonna hold you all too much longer because I know we got the Pacer game. But Pastor
uh-huh.
Pastor PC asked, "How are we preparing our temple for what we're doing on Sunday?"
Hey man,
yeah,
work out, work out. Use that body. That body is your temple. You got to take care of it because we sweat. We all that. We put a lot of wear and tear on our bodies. So rest is important. But you gotta. I work out a lot, and so make sure that keeping that temple. That temple. Drink a lot of water, and mind your business,
you hear it? My thing
Fast.
is, man, and what you don't do is gonna show up on Sunday morning.
boy.
You know what I mean? If you're not taking care of your body, man, that's gonna show. You're gonna be winded. You're gonna be winded on Sunday morning. I remember there was a time for me, man. I even told Jeremy during COVID, man, I gotta work out. I gotta get in the gym, bro. Because what we're doing is what we're doing, these recordings and all this trying to flip music and all that from week to week, it's wearing and tearing down my body. And it was almost immediate. As soon as I hit that gym, man, I literally saw the harvest during those praise and worship moments.
Come on, Harvest.
Hey, and I was like, give me more, Lord. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I know you can't tell now, but at one time last year I got pretty sick and I was on some steroids for my breathing. Um, but usually I try to fast at least once a week before a service, and then I'm walking or doing some stuff. My cardio workout used to be heavier back in the day, but as they say, hitting the gym and things like that, because singing is working out also. You need all the air, hold notes, moving, and you're directing and all that stuff. You're gonna feel it later after all the movement stuff you done did
Hmm.
through a Sunday service. So it's important.
And one thing I like to do, and Larry can attest to this. Like when I practice like it's Sunday morning. What I do in rehearsal, I'm doing it like I'm doing Sunday morning, so that I don't have to. Oh, I'm winded. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure that I'm just like I make sure that when I rehearse that song on Thursday at band rehearsal, it's gonna be just like I did it in Sunday morning because I have to. You know what I'm saying? It's you're preparing for the fight, the war, the
That's
warfare
good.
that you're dealing with. It's so much that that we have to fight against when we open up our mouths on Sunday morning. That's war on your body as well. We can't just be coming to war and then go to basic training.
Amen.
You gonna get shot. You
And you're
gonna
gonna
be
get
winded.
shot. Yes, sir.
You gotta move, man. You got to move that body.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's major. Yeah. Well, you have to take care of yourself. Cause man, my watch on Sunday, those are guys I watch, I close my circles every Sunday. Every Sunday. Man, I'm trying to tell you, sweating out suits and be like,
Yeah.
man, you know,
Yeah.
it's definitely that. But you all hit it right there on the right there on the head. Cause even for myself, I've been trying to be more cognizant of that, you know, especially while I'm on this journey, trying to lose this weight, getting out there on the bike, doing things like that, you know. And I'm not even gonna lie, I'm about to tell myself, I'll be out there on the bike, riding my bike, and I be having full blown worship services on the bike. People be
Come
walking past me
on.
talking about
As you
you,
should.
you know, because that's the practice, you know what I'm saying, and it's worship, you know what I'm saying. It's my time with God while I'm out there. But yeah, y'all hit it on the net and drink your water,
And
please.
mind your business.
Mind your business. Mind your business.
Yeah.
And mind your
So I would
business.
like to ask, like, how much water you guys drink as a whole. So I do like at least a liter and a half
I'm
every
trying to get
day.
to a gallon.
Man, I'm slow
I
motion.
try
I ain't
my
even
best to get to a
counting.
gallon, but sometimes I don't
If I
get
don't
there. I'm
drink
just be
it,
real.
if I don't drink it, I'm failing big time. If I've not had a efficient amount of water, it's all bad. It's downhill from there. And my sinuses are act up and things like that. So I have to have that water. They told me when once I had that surgery, I had to have like 96 ounces a day.
Man.
Eesh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
good.
I know I'm at about 2 liters every Sunday. Because I stop at a gas station and get a liter, and then I fill it back up at least
Hmm.
maybe once or twice, like, you know, from sound check to, you know, service, and then sometimes I go to other churches and do, you know. So yeah, I try to do at least two for sure on Sunday alone. So yeah, sometimes well, somebody did say that the Starbucks, the yeah,
Medicine
y'all
ball?
know,
Medicine ball.
medicine ball, yeah, that's a blessing too. Somebody
Yes.
said the spiritual warfare ain't no joke. It's no joke. It's
For
no
sure.
joke. Well, I'm not going to hold y'all much longer. This has been a great conversation. Great conversation. I really enjoyed this. But I want to ask our final question because I don't even know what we're looking like at the game. I ain't been watching it. But
I got a minute and 11 seconds
Come
before
on,
halftime.
update.
Are we up? Are we up?
oh,
Come on, update.
We
halftime
down by
in two.
one.
Halftime in two, which I did tell y'all we were gonna be out of here by the start of the third quarter. So we're gonna get that. We all know the Pacers is a third and fourth quarter team anyway. Um, But let's ask this last final question because I'm sure that there's somebody on here or that will watch the show later that is aspiring to be a praise and worship or a musician or whatever. What advice would you give an upcoming praise and worship leader that may feel discouraged during their journey?
I would say sit at the feet at somebody that you are looking up to.
Yeah.
There have been so, man, when we were growing up, man, I know I sound old when I say that. When we were growing up, we were literally, I remember we were literally sit on the front row and just watch, right? And it did something for us. It motivated us. It opened our spirit to, man, what could be. I remember when I started out playing the drums, just sitting there watching the drummer,
Yeah.
right? So man, to that aspiring praise and worship leader, that's aspiring musician, man, find somebody that you can glean from, find somebody that you can learn from, sit at their feet, pull their heartstrings, all that, get in their face.
Sure. I try to be one growing up. I wanted to be a drummer too as well, Larry, and to get the opportunity. Hey, can you put me in? I never got
Man,
that opportunity, and so, but once I start working at it and being at the feet, I start getting okay. I could do altar call. You know what I'm saying? So I always say, mentorship is everything, man. Um, get someone get around like minded people, and when you get around like minded people, where you trying to go. I won't go to I won't go to Peyton Manning to be a basketball player.
yeah,
I go to someone that's already a basketball player to be a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? And so if you want to be a worship leader, if you want to be a musician, go around a musician, go around a worship leader. But like, what? How can I be a better person? You know what I'm saying? Mentorship is everything, and I think sometimes it's so hard to find um good mentors because I know everybody has time and things like that, but it's nothing like getting around somebody that's where you at and just learning from them. And my dad used to always say, I hear I may forget, I see I may remember, but until I do, I want to understand. And so sometimes I have to be able to see first. I got to be able to hear first, so that when I want to get to that level, oh, I understand why. I get it now. And so getting around like minded people is definitely important.
I would say go somewhere and serve before you yearn to just want the microphone. Just serve,
That part.
grow in the Lord. And I think the opportunities will come. I think the mentors will come. But if you're not serving anywhere and you're more spotlight driven and you want the mic in your hand, I think that's the wrong mentality you have. I love the fact I was the same way. I stayed in a choir rehearsal or somewhere, you know, growing up. I started on the drums too. I wasn't that good, but I did play the drums for a little bit. I keep a beat, but I think it was the heart I had to worship the Lord, to sing unto the Lord. Everything we do, as the word says, we do it as unto the Lord. So I think being a worship leader is a heart thing first. And then
uh,
you get around the like Larry and Jeremy was saying, get around those people. Because you'll know if you're around the right ones or the wrong ones. Because the wrong ones they won't be living it.
they'll show the true
And
colors.
they'll show their true colors. And you're gonna have to make a choice then to stay away and wait for God to open up the proper door. Um, but just seek after God. I think the more you seek after Him and you tell Him the desires of your heart, and you're serving, the doors will open, the opportunities will happen.
That's good.
Yeah, you guys hit it on the head. Yeah, again, in order I always tell people, in order for you to get where it is that you want to be, you have to first learn to serve. Um and anybody that really knows me and knows my story knows that that's how I started. That's I'm not even where I want to be, but from where I am, I got there through serving. From every aspect. So in order to get somewhere, you have to learn to serve and glean and uh be willing to learn, make some mistakes and learn and go from there. So yeah. Well, I think that's all. I see my uncle here is dropping some people in the city that there's some great names. But I want to thank you fellas for joining us today, for being on the show. I hope that you guys have enjoyed your time. I have definitely enjoyed my time. I am definitely, my cup is full and I feel like I can continue to go on. I appreciate you guys for who you are. And I pray that God continues to pour you all's cup so that you can continue to pour and to go and do great things, whatever that it is that God is calling you guys to do. If you guys that are listening to the show, whether you're watching us live or listening on podcasting station, if you don't know these guys, find them, watch them, listen to them. I know Larry has music out. I know Landis is working on his stuff. Jeremy's going to have some music at some point in time. I'm speaking it even now. Praise God.
That'd be
But,
good.
definitely follow these gentlemen. Great guys, great hearts, great spirits. And so I appreciate you guys once again for coming on my show and talking with us today. And I hope that everybody that is listening was able to learn something. But, this is the end of season 3 for Generation Now. I hope that all of you guys have been able to um, get something from season 3. Season 3 thus far is probably by far my favorite season thus far, because God has just spoken so much to us over this last season. So if you, whether you've been rocking with us from the jump or just getting in, please go back and listen to season 3. It's been great. It's been great. I think this was the third. I think we did 3 episodes this season about music alone, which is crazy. But God is good and He's faithful, and so I'm looking forward to season 4. We are coming back for season 4. I already know what the theme of season 4 is going to be. I already know the direction that God wants to go. But over these next couple months, I'm just going to be sitting in God's presence so that He can download to me the strategy and the instruction and the direction for season 4. I hope that you all have enjoyed and that you've been rocking with us. If you haven't already, be sure that you guys lock into Generation Now. I'm going to be dropping some things and putting some things out here and there so that the momentum of the show doesn't die. But make sure that you guys text in to Gen Now to 833-635-2367. So that way you guys can be tapped in to know what's going on with the show. And I'm going to see you back for season 4. I'm believing that God is going to do some great things with that season. I cannot wait to see what He's going to do. So I love you all from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you all for joining in, and to our panelists today for coming and hanging out with me. I will see you all season 4. God bless you all, and we will see you then. Peace. Thanks, fellas, for joining. I appreciate y'all.